In this part of the training, you're going to learn how you can ride faster with more confidence while reducing your risk of crashing and getting hurt on single track trails, which is my 3-step backyard confidence method. One of the biggest and most painful mistakes I see trail riders make is trying or thinking that you need to ride out of your comfort zone in order to increase your speed, your skills, or thinking that they need a more powerful bike in order to ride faster or do more challenging trails. But a few problems with that is it's likely to take years to improve your speed or confidence, or you might not be able to keep up with your riding group, whether it's family or friends, even if you've been riding for the same amount of time. You'll also have a higher risk of crashing and getting hurt, especially on newer trails that you're not familiar with. Step number 1, you're going to learn how trail riders can prevent crashes from riding over their skill level, even if you're brand new to trail riding. And 3 of the biggest mistakes I see are starting on too much bike and thinking that you can just practice good throttle control or take it easy and grow into the bike. For example, if you feel like the throttle is really jerky and the bike wants to jump out from underneath you, or you feel like you're going to smash into a tree because you can't control the power, well, just practicing smooth throttle control or trying to manhandle the bike can help, but it's just a band-aid and isn't getting to the root cause of why your bike is hard to handle. Or maybe you're just pressured to ride faster or more challenging trails, thinking that the best way to get better is to try and keep up with faster riders. Or you might just think that you need to control the whole weight of your bike and it feels really big and heavy, so you end up squeezing with your knees or your hands, but this ends up making you exhausted really quickly, and when you get to a technical or bumpy section, you still get bounced and jerked and thrown around on the bike. So you'll still be intimidated to ride your bike because maybe it's too tall or too powerful or too heavy for you. You'll greatly increase your risk of crashing hard, especially when trying to keep up with faster riders. Your arms or wrists or hands or back are going to get fatigued within like 15 minutes of trail riding, making it hard to hang on to the bike or stand up or just enjoy the trail ride. So the step number 1 is the state of control mindset. And this is where you ride within your comfort zone so that you reduce your risk of crashing. And how do you know if you're in your comfort zone? Well, if you start getting loose and sideways and you start feeling nervous, intimidated, you start to tighten up and tense up, well, that's probably because you're riding out of your comfort zone. And if you keep doing that, you're more likely to crash. And then what you need to do is stay in your comfort zone and wait until you're comfortable and confident before you increase your speed or do more challenging trails. And how will this reduce your risk? Well, are you more or less likely to crash if you're riding out of your comfort zone? I'm a prime example of this because I hate riding out of my comfort zone. I don't like the feeling of it, not being able to efficiently control the bike with my body, but I didn't stay stuck in the nervous trail rider stage, even though I wasn't pushing out of my comfort zone. How did I do that? Well, keep on listening. In step number 2, you'll have more control of your bike on every terrain with less effort. Now, a couple of the biggest mistakes I'm seeing in this step are not learning all of the basic techniques and just trying to improve by riding more, getting more seat time, just going at the same trail over and over again, hoping that you'll improve. Or trail riders think that they've already learned the basic techniques and they've moved on to just trying to ride faster or work on more advanced techniques to advance their skills. But I've learned that what you feel is not always what you're actually doing. Because if you watch a video on YouTube about a riding tip and then you go out and try and practice it and think that you're using the right technique and body position, but if you actually set up a camera and film yourself, you might find out that what you're actually doing is not what you think you're doing. And when you haven't learned all of the basic techniques, just trying to ride faster and get more seat time is just a recipe for increasing your risk. And the proper techniques of trail riding are a lot different if you're used to riding on the street on a motorcycle, maybe a mountain bike, maybe a jet ski or a snowmobile. Riding 2 wheels in the dirt is a lot more different. If you think that your skills on a motorcycle or on the streets are going to translate, you'll be rudely awakened because they're not exactly the same. And in some cases, they're almost the opposite. And if you don't get this step right, then you're still going to struggle on all or at least some types of terrain, whether it's getting stuck halfway up the hills or you're front tire's washing out on flat corners, or your front end is feeling like it wants to go wherever it wants on sand, or your throttle feels really jerky when you're riding tight corners or in tight woods with lots of trees. And then step number 3 from my backyard confidence method, you might be happy to know that learning new techniques will be easier and quicker. You'll be able to efficiently use the controls and shift your body while trail riding without even having to think about it. But there's a couple mistakes that I see trail riders making that hold them back from this. One might be not being intentional about forming positive riding habits and just trying a riding technique from a video the next time they go out and ride trails. When you just go out and try it and expect to get it right away, you're going to be frustrated because you haven't built up that muscle memory. Learning new things is going to feel weird and awkward at first, and if you aren't intentional, it's going to take a lot longer to learn and master that. Or I see some trail riders just practicing drills, but not really sure what the right or wrong technique is, but thinking that drill is going to help them anyway. So if you're missing this step 3, you might be able to ride faster on trails that you're familiar with, but when you go and ride a new trail, you might still feel nervous and have to slow way down because you have to think about what you're doing when it comes to using the proper techniques. And you'll have a higher risk of crashing and getting hurt in an emergency situation. Like if you're coming up to a turn on a trail and once you get to it, you realize that you carried too much speed and you need to slow down quickly. You might know what the proper technique is, but if you have to think about it, be like, oh, I need to grab the brake and smoothly press it in, then I can let the weight shift forward and then apply more brake. But if you have to think about it, it's already too late and you're gonna fly off the trail. So this step of forming positive riding habits is intentionally using the proper techniques until you have built that muscle memory so you don't even have to think about what you're doing. Hey! You wanna be in this video? And if you've ever had like a shoulder or an arm injury and you have to use your other hand to do common everyday things like wiping your backside, it's going to feel really awkward at first, but when you're forced to do that over and over again, it's going to feel more comfortable and easier very quickly. And if you do want to become a confident trail rider this year, then you should download my free Basic Techniques Guide. It's a free PDF that you can download at motocrosshideout.com/basic, or you can click the link in the description below and you'll get on my email list to know when I am offering a discount on my virtual dirt bikers school, where you can get one-on-one personalized coaching that will help you specifically. I'm Kelly Fager from Motocross Hideout, and I want you to be a safe, confident, efficient trail rider so that you can enjoy it for many years to come while reducing your risk of crashing and getting hurt.